hello from one of the few remaining allowed outdoor activities here in California, camping, probably due to the nature of it being isolation and all of that. Except I am not isolated. I am not alone here. I am surrounded, in fact, by little fat flying fuzzy bumbly boys. Bees and wasps everywhere. I guess that's what happens when you go camping in the summer. But this is just throwing me back to the worst day of my life. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but at the time it was the worst pain that I had ever gone through. Let me set the stage for you, right? It is some family member relation. It was someone's wedding, and it was this beautiful indoor wedding in this church with the light streaming in through the stained glass windows, but I didn't care about that as a kid. All I cared about was this giant outdoor plot of grass. Perfect for running around in my nice clothes, obviously. So, post-wedding, that is exactly what I'm doing. I don't know any of the other kids there, so I'm just doing it to entertain myself, honestly. I'm running around pretending that I am Tigger from the Tigger movie, because that movie was my childhood. And that's when it happens. Somehow, in the midst of my spinning in a circle, I take a little bit of a stumble, a lot bit of a stumble in fact, and start to fall over backwards. And as I'm doing so, your boy obviously is clutching at the air as you do, trying to find anything to catch his fall. And I caught something that caught my fall. Somehow, I don't know what the chances are, your boy grabbed a bee out of midair like it's Pokemon. But this isn't Pokemon. Thank goodness. Can you imagine Beedrill stinging you? Holy cow. Because yes, that is in fact exactly what happened. Right there, directly underneath where this finger connects. And immediately, thank goodness, what comes flooding back in my mind was learning in science class that when you get stung by a bee, the most important thing to do is pull out the stinger as soon as possible because it continues to pump venom for like a full minute into you. And obviously that makes the pain so much worse the more venom that you have in your hand or anywhere you get stung. So I know what to do. I run up to my mom with my hand starting to smart like it has never smarted before. But at that very moment, it just so happens that my mother was being photographed with the bride and groom, and priorities, so I had to wait for them to be finished. But they were not finished, in fact, because at that moment, the photographer saw me running up and was like, oh great, the last person is here. Everybody get in a line. We're going to take a picture of the entire group, the entire wedding. Meanwhile, my arm feels like it's gonna fall off. And I tried to tell my mom that, but she's like, shh, hang on, just wait till after this is done. This is really important. This is the biggest day of her life. Which, to be fair, it totally was. And so, here we have this moment. The greatest day of her life, the worst day of mine. I am in so much pain and agony in that photo. And here's the thing. It probably really wasn't that bad, objectively. Like, I think as an adult now, I've been in worse physical pain since then, but I haven't been stung by a bee since. So in my mind, being stung by a bee is the worst physical pain you can possibly be in. So that thought haunts me every time I hear a buzzing right by my ear, which there's a story for another time. The time a wasp took a chunk out of my ear. I basically got my ears pierced. On a camping trip just like this. But that's a story for another time. So now I want to ask you, what do you do when you see a bee? Do you have any interest in getting stung stories? And leave them all down below, and I will read them once I get back to civilization, which is the reason that this video is kind of a one-take, because I'm getting back on Sunday. So I need to just post this as soon as possible with as little time spent editing. Plus, I just want to spend this time, enjoy the wild, beautiful nature before things get even worse and we're not even allowed outdoors at all. Please wear a mask and stay inside if you can. Anyway, I will see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe and stay positive.